What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another video on my channel. I'm coming to you from a hotel room out in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm at another job conference. Last time I was in Wilmington for work, I dropped some fire on y'all. Y'all can go ahead and check that video out right up here. But on today's video, we're going to get right into the topic of why I think photographers need to have a blog. Not should, but need to have a blog. But actually, before we do that, so y'all know NCAA 25 came out, right? So I brought my Xbox out here and I was like, yo, I'm about to be playing NCAA 25 like every night after I come home from my work festivities. The Xbox won't connect to the internet and I can't play the game unless I'm connected to the internet. So your boy is sick. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sick. And also, if I keep looking off to the side, it's because these construction workers are out here on the roof. I would turn the camera around, but that's gonna be a little obvious, but I got a roof view. I can't see anything except the roof, but they're out here working on the roof. So they ain't paying attention to me, I ain't paying attention to them, whatever. So we're just gonna get right into the video why I think photographers should have a blog. So if you don't have one, you know, thank you for being here. This video is done for you. If you do have one, maybe you can find some ways to make it better or whatever. And also, this is just my opinion, as is every video. So this is not just like a one-stop shop. I'm not the only person that's gonna think things correctly. I know there's a lot of other people out here that have a lot more information to give, or some different information to give regarding the topics or any of the topics that we talk about. So yeah, just full disclaimer, just letting that be out there or whatever. So I said without further ado, like twice, but third time's a charm. So okay, let's get right into the video. So the reason why I think that photographers need, like absolutely need, to have a blog, and it comes down to one simple thing, 3 letters, and that is SEO. Now, if you're not familiar with SEO, SEO stands for search engine optimization. So it determines where on the Google list you show up when somebody searches said thing. So if you don't have a blog and you're just starting your website, it's going to be really hard for you to reach the top of the food chain when it comes to people searching for websites or searching for photographers in your area, so on and so forth. But if you have a blog, it makes it a little bit easier. It's not a guaranteed thing that's going to happen, but it makes it a little bit easier that you'll kind of sneak up to the top quicker if your blog post has the right words and is getting typed into the search bar more often than not. So let me give you an example of a blog post. A blog post is, say you took a portrait session down at your local park. Then you would say, portrait session at this and this park in this city and this state. Or you'll make a blog saying, I'm a photographer in such and such city in such and such state. Now when people go to search in photos at this park or photographers in this city in this state, you're more likely to pop up because your SEO is optimized for that, because they're typing in those keywords that you have in your blog post. Now, keywords is a whole other thing that also goes into this blog and SEO, and I'm still trying to figure that out, so I'm not about to, go into all that and act like I know what I'm talking about. But once I really get it hammered down, I'm definitely going to make a video on that. But SEO is probably the most important thing, and also the most tricky and difficult thing when it comes to building your brand and building your photography business. So another option or another example of a blog post you can make to have people click on your website more frequently, or have your website show up to the top quicker and more often, is if you make a blog with some type of information that will help the customer or the consumer. So for instance, I have a blog talking about the best wedding venues in the Raleigh-Durham area. That's going to be a hot topic question that people are not only going to search for now, but frequently throughout the years, because people are always looking for wedding venues in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. Like, Raleigh is the capital. It's flooded with venues. Durham is up and coming, and they have a bunch of venues to offer as well. So making a post about the best wedding venues in Raleigh-Durham, that will give me the chance, I'm not going to say it's guaranteed, but that gives me the chance to show up higher on the Google rankings or Google charts when people go to search in best wedding venues in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. And then as time goes on and I learn about different venues, I can just add to that blog post. So if somebody's looking for like best wedding venues, and let's say the Cookery shows up, which is kind of down the street from my house in Durham, North Carolina, then my website can pop up and they'll read my little blurb I read or I wrote about the Cookery in Durham, North Carolina. And now that they are reading some useful information about something that they want to know on your website, they're on your website already. So they're probably going to be looking for a photographer if they're looking for a venue. Now that they're on a photographer's or videographer's website, now they're going to be more inclined to check out your work, which means you're more inclined to get inquiries, which means you're more inclined to get bookings, which means you're more inclined to make money off of photography or videography. So SEO is a big thing. It's really important, and it makes it a whole lot easier when you have a blog post to show up when people search for these things. And if you're not blogging your sessions, like every wedding you do or every session you do, you need to start like immediately, because these blog posts go a long way. They allows people who do want to inquire about you and your website. If you are blogging not necessarily full wedding days, because you're probably delivering 400 to 500 pictures depending on how long you're there, you don't need to put all 400 or 500 pictures on this blog post, but you can probably put like 100, kind of tell the key moments of the story throughout the day. And that'll give people a good idea about how you take pictures throughout the day and how consistent you are, versus if you just send somebody like 2 or 3 pictures, they're gonna be like, okay, these are your highlights, but like, how do you operate throughout a full day? So giving people more options to look at on a blog post is going to be more helpful for you in the booking process, because they're going to be able to tell how you go and take pictures throughout a full day, your quality throughout a full day, and then they'll be more inclined to book you for a 4-hour day, 8-hour day, or whatever. And that in turn turns to money. That in turn turns to new gear and anything else you want to do in your wedding industry or portrait photography industry or whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter if it's just a regular portrait session, it should be blogged if you want more traction to your website. Now, I said earlier I'm not going to get all into keywords because I'm still trying to figure that out, or trigger words as they call it, which is true. I'm not going to get super into it, but I do know that one thing you want to add about trigger words is definitely like city and state, and like what type of session it was, and then where it was, like within the city or state. And I think that those key things are going to help you show up a little bit. And then if you want to put in the footnotes, or sometimes you can describe your blog post and then you can put more trigger words in the description of the blog post to help with SEO, you can do that. But there's like SEO classes out there and stuff like that that'll get more in depth into it. But like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, so I'm not about to act like I got the answer to everything. So at the end of the day, to wrap this all up, basically every photographer, videographer, whatever, needs a blog, because blogs can eventually turn to money. Blogs turn to traction, which turns to inquiries, which turns to bookings, which turns to money. So if you don't have a blog post, you do need to strongly consider having a blog, starting a blog, whatever. It doesn't have to be this super in-depth thing. I thought when I first started the blog, I was like, okay, they just want to learn about my personal life, which you can do that. You can post about like things you're doing or things that are fun to you so people can know you better. You can, but that's probably not going to get the most traction to your website. But when people are already on it, maybe they want to read about you and learn more about you, then that's fine. But don't make that your focus. I made that my focus at first because I thought that's what a blog was, but I was wrong. So definitely be blogging your sessions. If you are already blogging your sessions and you're struggling with this, definitely check out some SEO programs or free online courses or whatever. I mean, some people are going to say join a master class and let that be that. I mean, I don't hate master classes, but I don't love them either, because every person who has a master class thinks like their way is the only way, and I don't know, I don't vibe well with that. So I kind of stay away from master classes, but there's a bunch of free resources you can choose from to kind of figure out what's going to be best for you as far as SEO and as far as getting traction to your website. And if all else fails, or if you just want to help out a little bit more, you can run some ads. I ran ads on Facebook for a couple days, and I didn't put a lot of money on it because I just wanted to see what happened. I did like $5 a day for like 3 days or something like that. But I did get people in my DMs asking about my services and my prices and stuff like that. So I do think running ads is good and is going to bring attention to your business, but I wouldn't recommend running an ad until you have an adequate portfolio that you're ready to show off. Because if you run an ad just saying like, oh, I started a website, then it's gonna be like, okay, cool, but like there's nothing on your website. So you're not really gonna get a whole lot of bookings. But once you do like a few portrait sessions or a few weddings, get a few weddings under your belt or whatever, then you can put your, hot pictures in there, put your blog in there, and then you can run those ads so people actually have something to look at once they get to your website. And then from there, you'll get inquiries saying, hey, like, where are you located? How much do you charge? And for some reason, I've been getting messages from people that live in Utah and California, and they're like, well, you're too far. And I'm like, I don't even know why you're seeing this, but whatever. But yeah, so that being said, that is it for today's video. If you don't have a blog, start a blog like now, like yesterday. And if you do have a blog, keep doing what you're doing and just make sure you're hammering in on the SEO and all the other stuff, and it'll work out eventually. Just stay consistent. This stuff does not happen overnight, but I know it can be frustrating if it doesn't happen like sooner than later. I get it, but just stay diligent, stay consistent, keep working on your craft. And if you're waiting around inside for something to happen to go out and shoot, you're doing it wrong. So pick up your camera, go out and shoot, learn your camera like the back of your hand. And so when the time does come, you'll be ready. Don't wait to get ready so you can stay ready, or something like that they say. I said that very wrong, but before I make myself look like any more of a fool, I am Cameron, portrait and wedding photographer based out of Durham, North Carolina, but traveling wherever, capturing the authentic moments while creating amazing memories. And thank you for choosing this video. Thank you for choosing this video. Thank you for tuning in to today's video, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.